How you doing? I got a little poem I'd like to share with you all today. It's called Not Without Casey. I died one night. It was a head-on collision. I was sleeping at the wheel, had cloudy, blurred vision all across the road. There was wreckage and death. I can't remember drawing my last breath. But I was dead for sure, there was no doubt about it. I looked down and saw my bloody self surrounded by flashing lights and medical personnel. This sucks, I thought. I'm going to hell. Wait a minute. If I'm dead, then why am I seeing all this like I'm sitting in the sky? But I never was shallow, so I wasn't really tripping. I looked around and I saw weird things zipping around my head or where it should be. Just waiting to see where they're going to send me. Then I got lightheaded and my thoughts were spacey and I realized I can't go on without Casey. Heaven or hell, I'm riding on the seams, but I don't want to go on without the girl of my dreams. So I ducked behind a cloud to make my escape, and I was flying pretty good for a guy without a cape. Made my way down, I was back on the ground. I hope they didn't notice, but I was homeward bound. I finally made it back to my newly shattered home. I looked through the window and saw Casey on the phone. She must have just received the shocking news. She smashed the phone and began to lose control of herself. She screamed at the sky, God, oh, why did Travis have to die? Without delay, I walked through the wall. Casey was crying, dying in the hall. I reached out my hand to touch her face, but I felt nothing there, just empty space. I watched her cry, there was nothing I could do. My sweet baby girl was dying too. Then a loud voice said, Travis, it's time. Court is in session and we have to decide which way you'll go. To heaven or hell, fiery pits or little silver bells. And it ripped me apart where my heart should be. I didn't want to go anywhere if I didn't have Casey. Judgment Day. Oh damn, here we go. I was ready to burn, but the boss said no. You've done a lot of things that have made me mad, but considering everything, you're not that bad. So here's a harp, try to learn some songs. Up here in heaven is where you belong. The boss shook my hand and angels embraced me, but golden streets and harps couldn't replace my Casey. So for the first few weeks I kind of moped around, strumming on my harp, getting used to the sound. Seems I had a knack for the harp for certain. I learned wild horses and beast of burden. Impressed with my skills, I just couldn't wait to see Casey walking through those pearly gates. Cause some guy I met said we'd be together. Once Casey arrived, we'd be bound forever. I waited and waited, it seemed like eternity. But still, there was no sign of my little lady. So I checked one day on the boss's computer. Casey died, but she never made it up here. I looked a little deeper and in shock discovered what had become of my soulmate and lover. She had found her way into hell, and that's certainly no place for my little southern belle, so I talked to the boss. There was nothing he could do. But if Casey was burning, then I wanted to burn too. So I smashed the harp, said fuck 10 times, kicked the boss's dog and broke his wind chimes. It's nothing personal, I hope you can see, but I don't want to stay in heaven if I can't have Casey. So they put me on the first train to hell. I was scared a little bit, but I thought, oh well, after all this time I'd finally be reunited with my sweet little lover, and I was getting excited. The train pulled up, it was as hot as they say, no AC and 120 in the shade. The first thing I saw when they opened the door was Casey looking sexy with her little pitchfork. She winked at me and said with a smile, hey there Travie, it's been quite a while. We kissed and hugged with flames around us. Then a bunch of little demons started to surround us. They had little guitars and they started to sing, and then Satan himself walked up with 2 rings and said, do you two want to get hitched? Even if you're cold, hot, broke, or rich? We said, hell yeah, no pun intended. That's how this little love story ended. What other one should I say? Mommy? Mommy, which one? Well, this piece here is called Lovebirds. While the city slept, we lay as one, lovers convoluted. Breaking dawn, poisoned sun, everything became polluted. A lover's kiss, pain and lust, promises disregarded. Forsaken one by everyone, you made me feel discarded. Confusion in my head, growing hatred in my soul. The little lies you spit at me made me lose control. As lonely night embraced me, I'd begin my battle. The lovebirds had disgraced me, so I'd slaughter you both like cattle. As you lay entwined with him, snuggled in your bed, I'd sit outside your window, thoughts of murder in my head. O.J. gloves, and in my hand that wicked-looking blade. This demon that will kill you was the man that you betrayed. Now the papers are piling up on the porch. There's nobody answering the door. There's no lights at night. There's no one in sight. The lovers don't live here no more. Neighbors with suspicious minds start snooping around like they do. Broken glass and blood-smeared blinds, a peek inside and they knew. Swarming flies and the smell of death, the lovebirds butchered in bed. Dead together, rotting forever. Except of course I've got your heads. In the dark of night we again lay as one, although only one of us speaks. You don't have any tits and you don't like to kiss, and baby you're starting to stink. You're faithful now, so I don't care, but your sweet touch I'll admit that I miss. You're all that I've got and you don't want a lot, so I couldn't ask for much more than this. Alright, here's another love poem. This one's called Necrophile. She was my lover, and I loved to kiss her, but when she started acting up, I didn't want to miss her, so I killed her and put her on ice for a while. Here goes the tale of a modern necrophile. At the community college I enrolled just for fun. Basic robotics and taxidermy 101. I learned the trades and I made it my own. Then came the resurrection of the lover I had known. I made a frame, totally customized. Flexible joints are just the perfect size to fit the height of my lover on ice. When she was complete, she was looking pretty nice. But I gotta admit, the face was kinda tough. I fixed a little smile, but she was looking pretty rough. I didn't care, I had my lover back, and now we had our first throw in the sack. She could assume any position with a little help from me, on top, doggy style or missionary. She couldn't move her hips, so I did all the work. Not a bad fuck except for that spark on her face. It was really starting to sag, but I'd done so much work, so I just grabbed a fucking paper bag, put it over her head, and fucked her like a beast. I was impressed with myself, to say the very least. Sometimes at night when I'd watch TV, I'd pop some popcorn or prop her right up next to me about the shows I watched. She never complained. Sometimes you gotta kill them before they can be trained. Then came the day I took her into town. I had a few errands to run and I wanted to cruise around, so I turned up the tunes and bought a 6-pack of beer. Then I saw her mom and dad in the rearview mirror. I could tell by the look on their face that they recognized what used to be their daughter, and they seemed so surprised, so I just turned my head and I waved with a smile at the parents of a girl tooling around with the necrophile. I gave him the finger that I stomped on the gas. As soon as I lost him, I threw my lover in the trash. I'm single again, and I'm feeling depressed. Things didn't work out, but I gave it my best. I'll never forget the great times we had. My sweet baby's gone, and I'm taking it bad. Anyway, there's a few pieces. I got plenty more where that came from. If you like that, then maybe you'll see more one of these days. And if you don't like it, then fuck you.